America, America, how are you doing today? Happy 4th of July. I am Dylan, and I am your host for today's holiday edition of the Comic Call. You may or may not be hearing in the background, we have fireworks going on, either from our neighborhood or from the park a little ways back. So you might hear periodic pops and booms here and there. But nothing to be worried about. It is 4th of July, so people, of course, are celebrating the holiday with fireworks. I celebrate my holiday as I always do, going to my uncle's house and spending time with my cousins and my uncles and aunts and my dad and my stepmom, as well as my wife and my kids. So it was a nice day, a little hot as usual. We also did some Pokemon Go hunting today, but you're not here to hear all about that. You're here to read about comics. And I got to tell you this, I also bought comics this week. And this week was really one of probably the best new comic book day weeks of the year, or really of any year, to be honest. But let's just say, not to get way ahead of ourselves, probably this year has been the best new comic book day, because there's a lot of stuff that came out this week that's big, important, huge, setting up stuff for the next couple 50 or so issues or whatever. And also there were a bunch of new creative teams and anniversary editions and so on and so forth. So I didn't get everything that came out this week. I will mention maybe a few after the end of the show to sort of give you an idea of what's going on. So it's Wednesday, July 4th. Usually I do my other show, Dylan Knows, on July 4th, but I just did it on Sunday, and I still want a few more days to get a bunch of stuff together for my weekly show. So I'm going to be doing my new episode of Dylan Knows this weekend sometime. However, I figured since this was a big comic book week, and it's been a really long time since I remember doing a comic book haul, because I've only really been doing this straight for 2 years, and obviously we haven't had a July 4th free comic book day or new comic book day in a while. To be honest, I started thinking about, there's not really a lot of holidays that would fall on new comic book day. Christmas Eve, 4th of July, well, St. Patrick's Day, if you want to get a little crazy, Valentine's Day, obviously, also. But think about it. New Year's and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, I guess they could fall on it as well, since Christmas and Christmas Eve do as well. But Halloween could be also, absolutely. So there's a lot more than I thought there would be. But like your Memorial Days, your Labor Days, stuff like that, that's not going to fall. Easter, Good Friday is not going to fall on a new comic book day. But it doesn't matter. We're not here to talk about any of all that. We're here to talk about comics. And yeah, this is a good haul this week. A lot of good stuff out this week. And as I said, not everything came out this week. I can tell you for sure, part of this week, there's a ton of issue 50s, which are always a big deal in the comic book world. Plus, you got to remember also, guess what's coming out on Friday? It's the 4th. On the 6th, we've got Ant-Man and the Wasp, the last Marvel Cinematic Universe film before Captain Marvel comes out next year. So this is the last one of the year, and it'll have a connection to Avengers Infinity War, so from what I've heard. But it's also Ant-Man and the Wasp is great, and you get Michelle Pfeiffer working together with Michael Douglas, which is an amazing thing as well. And you get Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly together. So you got some good stuff. So this is why it's a good comic week. But the biggest book of the week is Batman number 50. It is the long-awaited wedding between Batman and Catwoman. Now, this was spoiled by the New York Times, I believe, or Washington Post, one or the other, earlier in the week. I caught a glimpse of the headline, and I tried to knock it out. No, they wouldn't do that to us. Yes, they actually did. But I'm not going to let you know what they did to us, but you're going to figure out for yourself. But I looked through it. It's pretty nice. It's written by Tom King. Mikhail Janin does the majority of the artwork, but there's also a number of full-page Catwoman and Batman pages in here as well. This is Garcia Lopez, and this is Becky Cloonan's version of it. Here's the main story, that's going on with the Bat wedding, and then they keep going, and then these pages, actually, these words have a reason for being here as well. So you get a wide variety of superheroes. So you get 2 pages of pinups, and then you get like 2 pages of the actual story, and then 2 pages of pinups. This is like my favorite one because you get Tony Daniel and you get Amanda Connor, and it looks, this is lovely. Still not the best part of the book. I like this Raphael Albuquerque one as well. The best picture of the book is this one right here. So I like this. I like this page a lot. I'm not going to show you any more because I don't want to spoil any more, but you get the general idea of where they're going with that. So you get the story, and then you get the full page artwork by some of the top artists of comic books right now. Some from the past, some more recently. So you get all that in one beautiful book. Tom King is writing the hell out of Batman, and I'm glad it was leading up to this. So congrats on that, and hopefully he says he's going to be on for another 50 or so issues, and then we'll see what happens. So it was, what, 2 years? Yeah, so 2 years. So we're going to be good for another 2 years. So we'll be doing this again in 2 years. Now, also out this week, in follow-up to this, is Catwoman #1. Joelle Jones, amazing artist, writer. Great to have it. Love this cover. I'm glad I was able to get a copy of it. She's holding a copy of issue number 50. It says, read Batman 50 before you read this one. So read Batman 50 before you read Catwoman, obviously, because the spoiler on it will be in there. But Joelle Jones is writing a Catwoman book. It's the first time, I think, that a female writer-artist is doing Catwoman. I could be wrong. I haven't always been a Catwoman follower, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, Catwoman #1 is also out this week, so that's a good start also. And Joelle Jones is doing the art and story on that. Fantastic. Also, another big book out this week. We have Justice League #3. I've read the first 2 issues of this. Scott Snyder is the writer. Jorge Jimenez is going to be the main artist because Jim Chung can only do like one issue every like 5 issues or something like that. But his artwork is worth it. But Jorge Jimenez is doing this. This introduces the Ultraviolet Corps. I've always been a huge Green Lantern, different color Corps fan. I have all the shirts, all the rings, and I read the stories that Jeff Johns wrote about them. So this introduces a new one, the Ultraviolet one, that Sinestro is now like the leader of. He's no longer the yellow, he's now the Ultraviolet leader. So we get stuff, but Snyder is doing some crazy freaking end of the world apocalyptic stuff with his Justice League run, and I guess that's what you want to kind of get, sort of similar to what Grant Morrison did when he took over. He wanted to use the Justice League as the big hitters against the big issues, and there's all kinds of crazy science stuff and different things happening and stuff like that. So a fairly interesting take on things, and it's pretty good. Great, nice artwork by Jorge Jimenez. And again, you get a new Green Lantern Corps, in this case, the Ultraviolet Corps. I can't wait to read about it to see what it actually does. So it's pretty interesting. Another big book this week. The last issue of the Man of Steel series, leading into Brian Michael Bendis' run on Superman in Action Comics. I've read the first couple issues of it. I'm still not that sold on it, but will I pick up the first issue of Superman? Absolutely. Will I pick up Action Comics 1001? I will, absolutely. And we'll see what happens. But I'm not a big fan of what Bendis is doing. But in this case, you get Brian Michael Bendis and you get Jason Fabak doing the artwork. So I'm angry because I liked Lois and Clark together with John when Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason were writing it, and now Bendis is sort of sweeping that under the rug, which I'm not that big of a fan of. It's almost as if he doesn't want to write a married couple, which annoys the living hell out of me. So we'll see what happens. But we wrap up this story arc, and it'll lead to the new series. Here's Superman #1. Ivan Reyes is doing the artwork. Yeah, for like the first issue, and then we'll see what happens. And then, ooh, there's a pretty cool picture. Supergirl kicking butt. And let's see if they have the Action Comics. No, they don't. There is an Action Comics ad in here as well somewhere, but I can't find it right now. But Man of Steel #6, so that's another big one. So the last issue of the Bendis arc is there. See what I mean by it being a big week? And also how there's anniversary editions. Green Lanterns #50. is out this week as well. And I'm not sure if this is the new creative team or not, because I was just like, okay, I thought they were still they didn't wrap it up with 49. I thought, okay, this is going to be the final part of the story arc that the one writer came on, Sim Seeley came on to do. But no, actually, this is the beginning of a new story arc written by Dan Jurgens, of all people, writing a Green Lantern book, which just increased my interest in this book for a while. Mike Perkins is doing the artwork. And so the only thing I don't like is that it looks like they're bringing in more of the core, I guess, in advance of Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps, getting canceled. But that doesn't get canceled until issue 50, and they still got a few more issues to go before that. But luckily, the Green Lanterns that we've been following so far are in this series, so we'll see what happens. But it begins a new story arc, and again, Dan Jurgens is the new writer. Again, I don't know how long it's going to last, but as of now, he is the new writer of Green Lanterns, at least for this story arc, and we'll see if he can use on with it. You've always seen him as being part of, he's synonymous really with Superman and like Batman Beyond, and that was really the only ones I've really known him from. Booster Gold, obviously, he created, but he really hasn't written them in a while. So it'll be interesting to see what Dan Jurgens' take is on that. Now, this next one is not like an anniversary edition or whatever, but it's a great freaking cover, and I had to get it. It's Deathstroke number 33, and I love this is the obviously the variant cover. It's written by Christopher Priest with art by Ed Benes, and inks by Richard Friend. So you continuing the Deathstroke versus Batman storyline, and Ed Benes has always been good for some artwork. His artwork is nice looking, obviously, as you can see. So good on that. So again, you know, while maybe not necessarily the biggest, baddest thing, you know, one of the biggest books out this week, it's still an impressive storyline. Christopher Priest is doing a great job with it, and it's Deathstroke versus Batman. Another variant cover. Again, she keeps pulling me back in, and I just have to keep going because we have Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn number 46, I believe, 45. Frank Cho variant cover. Frank Cho is actually going to be at my store, my local comic store, this weekend signing stuff. Again, I know there's people out there who are upset with him and another artist I'm going to talk about in a few minutes about doing stuff, but I like this cover. And I was surprised again that this is also the issue that came out 2 weeks ago, written by Christopher Sabella, was just a one-off. I thought it was going to be a continuation, but a continued story, or Christopher Sabella is going to be the new writer. He's not. Sam Humphries, who wrote the aforementioned Green Lanterns, is now apparently writing this story arc with artist John Timms, who did the artwork for the Harley Quinn run with Jimmy and Amanda. So we're getting nice, beautiful, luscious, yummy Harley. And you get Harley Quinn versus Apocalypse, which is something that I had to pick up. So I guess I will be continuing with Harley Quinn in the future. And I think Sam Humphries is going to do a wonderful job with this story. So I will probably continue to keep getting Harley Quinn, despite the fact that I'm not the biggest fan of hers. So we'll see. I wasn't going to pick this up, but I figured I've gotten at least 2 issues of all the new Metal series, and I'll see what's going on with this. But this is the Unexpected number 2. The main thing that got me upset about this, again, and I've talked about this on the show before, Ryan Sook was supposed to be doing the art for this, and that's who they promoted to do the artwork. He's another guy who can only do like 1 issue every like 6 issues or something like that. So they have to get another artist in there. So they got Kerry Nord to come in, who's doing a fine job, don't get me wrong, but I'd rather see a full-length Ryan Sook comic book, but it's not the case. This one is written by Steve Orlando, who I always have liked also, art by Kerry Nord and Wade Von Grawbadger. So am I going to continue with this? Probably not, but I figured, it's a big week, July. I'm getting a raise at work. I live with a little extra money. It's the holidays, so why not? So I'll pick that up and maybe I'll read it and maybe I'll come back to buying it out. No, that's it for DC. Marvel, now we're into some other big books. They did a really great job of picking this date for this book, even though I'm still appalled by the fact that they're doing this again, because with the Legacy series, they were supposed to go back to original numbering and not do these number ones and stuff anymore. But as we've seen, it's not the case. Doctor Strange, Black Panther, so all the X-Men books, so on and so forth. But hey, guess what? We also have Captain America #1 back again. But this time, it's written by Ta-Nehisi Coates, who's doing the writing for Black Panther. So I have a Black African woman writing Captain America, which is a great idea. And the artist is, who are you, artist? Lionel Francis Yu and Jerry Alanguilan. And what I like about this is there's multiple variant covers on this. Mike Zeck, to me, was always one of the best Captain America artists. And when I saw this cover, I said, I have to have this one. So Cassaday is another good one. Adam Hughes has got one, but I saw the Mike Zeck one. I had to get the Mike Zeck one. Other variant copy covers were done by Joe Jusko, David Mack, Jim Steranko, Frank Miller, and Edgar Delgado, Lionel Francis Yu, Paul Renaud, Joe Simon, and Jack Kirby, Marco Jurjevic, Ron Garney and Matt Mila, Mike Zeck and Ryan Isinoff, and John Cassaday and Laura Martin. So I got the Zeck one because I like Zeck's run on it, and we'll see what happens. But I had to get #1 of Captain America on Independence Day, obviously. And I found out today on Facebook that in the MCU, Captain America was born on July 4th, 1918. That makes him 100 years old. So we shall see an interesting take on what is going to be going on with, but it looks like Bucky's playing a big role in this as well. And Sharon Carter's in here. Now she's looking a little older than I thought she would be. That could just be the artist, or they could just be something that I haven't read. So we'll see what happens. So we will see. But Captain America #1, I just had to get the Mike Zeck cover. It's Captain America. It's Independence Day. I had to get it. I originally got this series because I liked the creative team on it, but then I sort of got away from it because I needed to save some money and I wasn't interested in it. But I got drawn back into it. I found out there's a new team, Astonishing X-Men #13. It's written by what's his name? Rosenberg. Where are you, Rosenberg? Sorry, let me see. I gotta find this because I gotta talk about this. There we go. Matthew Rosenberg, Greg Land, penciler, Jay Leaston, inker. Now, there's been a recent stink on the internet about Greg Land's artwork, and a lot of people who I consider friends are ragging on the guy, and I understand their viewpoint, but I kind of like his artwork, but that's just me. You can call me whatever, I don't care, but I kind of like his artwork. But I like this team. You've got Havoc, Warpath, Colossus, Beast, Dazzler, and a special character, which I'm not going to spoil for you. And after the disappointment of spoiler, Kitty Pryde leaving Colossus at the altar, and Gambit and Rogue getting married instead, I've sort of gotten away from the X-Men now. But we'll see. I'll keep up with that. I like the team, and we'll see what's going on with that. Doctor Strange #3, Mark Waid and Jesus Saez. We have Doctor Strange in Outer Space, which reminds me also, another book that came out this week to make this continually a big week is Cosmic Ghost Rider, which is the Punisher as Ghost Rider in outer space. I talked about the fact that all these heroes now are going to outer space. They've got Doctor Strange in outer space. They're going to have Punisher in outer space. They're going to have as Guardians of the Galaxy in outer space. So you've got all kinds of outer space people. So Jesus Saez's artwork is amazing, and I like the concept that Mark Waid is doing, where Doctor Strange is exploring the universe and learning magic from different planets, which is actually a really original and neat idea that no one has ever really thought about, because there's obviously got to be some kind of magic on other planets. So to have Doctor Strange learn them and have a new style of magic is actually a really great idea and keeps the idea fresh with Doctor Strange. So in all intents and purposes, I bought this one for my daughter because she's the biggest Squirrel Girl fan in the world. This is Marvel Rising, Squirrel Girl, and Miss Marvel #1 one-shot. This is an all-ages book that features Miss Marvel and Squirrel Girl, as well as a few other characters. I think America's in it, and Captain Marvel as well. It's written by Ryan North, who wrote Squirrel Girl, G. Willow Wilson, who writes Miss Marvel, and Devin Grayson, and artwork by Irene Strachalski during the Squirrel Girl stuff, and Ramon Box doing Miss Marvel. So I guess you have different artists doing the different characters and writing the different things. So it's a pretty interesting take on things. And my daughter is just the world's biggest Squirrel Girl fan, so I had to get it. I'm trying to get her into Miss Marvel as well. It's a thick book. It's $5.99, but to be honest, I think this is actually worth it because it is really thick. And it's a good all-ages book to have. And, hey, it's the weekend. It's a holiday weekend. Why don't you go ahead and pick this up? So it's cute. There, the #0 and #1 issue of Marvel Rising you can get #0 for free from your store. #1 came out like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So that's it for Marvel. On the independent side, there isn't really anything hugely big coming out, and most of the stuff is in the Marvel DC area. One of the ones I forgot, Marvel's Star Wars comic, is hitting #50 this week as well. So that's another big one up there with Cosmic Ghost Rider. So, excuse me. So we're getting a lot of stuff. And again, I said Ant-Man and the Wasp comes out this week in the movie, so that's another reason why this is a big week in comics. Now, independence-wise, Gail Simone has popped up all of a sudden. She was out off the grid for a while. Now she's all over the place, which is great because I love her stuff. Domino, Plastic Man, and Red Sonja and Tarzan, #3. Gail Simone, Walter Segovia, or Walter Giovanni, excuse me. Has Tarzan teaming up with Red Sonja, and it's Gail Simone writing it, so you gotta love that. And you got your time travel and your Tarzan and your Red Sonja stuff, and it's great. Dark Arc #8 is continuing another great idea for a great story that I never really thought of. Cullen Bunn does it again. Juan Doe is the artist. And basically, remember your story about Noah, when Noah's Ark built an ark and brought 2 of every animal? Well, what if the devil told someone to build an ark and bring 2 of every demonic creature? And that's what this story's about, the Dark Ark. So you learn about life on the Dark Ark during all this stuff. And obviously, something happens down the line because these creatures do not exist in our world. But the fact is, to follow them for a 40 days, 40 night storyline and have something happen at the end is actually a really great idea. So good on you, Cullen Bunn. I got this one because I'm a big old male guy and it looked sexy and weird and unnatural. Merc, who has done artwork for Bombshells and stuff like that. She's a writer, artist, and colorist. Now, I have to warn you right now, it is a highly sexualized series. So there's lots of sex and nudity and stuff like that, and weird animal creatures, anthropomorphic animal stuff, and adult situation things. So it's probably not for kids, but as I said, there is nudity, there is sex, there is adult situations in it. So I figured I had to pick it up because I'm a big old pervert. So we'll see what happens. That's it for that. And the last one, this is for my wife. This is Beneath the Dark Crystal from Boom Studios, or rather I should say Archaea. Boom owns Archaea, so that's written by Adam Smith with art by Alexandria Huntington. There was a 12-issue Dark Crystal series that came out last year. This is another one my wife absolutely adores, the Dark Crystal, so I'm getting this for her, and hopefully she will like it and enjoy it. So this is out as well. So that is this week's World of Comics, Comic Haul, whatever you want to call it, for this 4th of July. Definitely pick this up and pick this up, definitely. Those are the two biggest ones, but as I showed you, there's a whole bunch of stuff out there for your pleasure, and some other stuff that I didn't pick up is there as well. So take a field trip to your local comic book store this weekend. It's a holiday weekend, kind of. Not for me, not for a lot of people. We're going back to work tomorrow and have to work 2 more days before the weekend comes, so that kind of sucks after the day off here right in the middle of the week, which is, again, kind of sucky, but we're looking on the tail end of the weekend now. So go to your local comic book store and definitely check this stuff out. Go see Ant-Man the Wasp, and then go to your local comic book store. Just make it a comic book weekend. Or if you're a Pokemon Go fan, while you're doing your Pokemon Go stuff, because we've got 2 days of Pokemon Go stuff going on, Articuno raids from 2 to 5 on Saturday, and Community Day on Sunday, 2 to 5 also for Squirtle. So definitely check those out. And while you're doing that, or going to see Ant-Man and the Wasp, which we're hoping to do this weekend as well, definitely check out your local comic book store. Pick up some of the stuff I just showed you, or whatever else is out there. Maybe your store might be having a 4th of July weekend sale. Mine is just doing 50% off of graphic novels. Their big sale was last weekend. And then Frank Cho is going to be at my store on Saturday signing stuff, but I won't be here for that because I'll be doing Pokemon Go stuff. So just make a trip to your local comic book store, maybe after seeing Ant-Man and the Wasp or doing Pokemon Go stuff. But just go do it and check out the stuff, particularly pick up Batman 50 as well, and Catwoman #1. And any of the comics I showed you, really, Captain America #1 as well. Check it out. Have a good 4th of July, and try to get through the next 2 days. The weekend is coming upon us. Happy 4th. God bless America.